Good morning. This is Warning 6162's 31st January 2012. I imagine you already know what I'm going to be talking about today. And I'm sitting on a warm, sort of a shirt sleeve day, probably about 45 Fahrenheit here in beautiful Sequim, Washington. This is looking directly northwest, about 10 miles away, maybe 15 miles away. It's Vancouver Island across the Strait of Juan de Fuca. You're looking at downtown Sequim. That's north, and then I'm just going to swing around and look northeast, and you can really just about see water there over the hill. So I'm not very far from salt water here. Downtown Sequim is at about 100 feet. There's 4 miles of quite flat plain running in from the sea, so should something happen, one would not want to think, but it could happen. Sequim could be inundated. I imagine you know what I'm going to talk about today. This is a picture of Jamestown's Skellum totem pole. Jamestown tribe juxtaposed on a postcard of Dungeness Spit. And Dungeness Spit is where I encountered the radioactive kelp last summer. And Dungeness Spit's right out that way. Okay, so before I go further with my story, I just want to tell you all, dear friends, that I'm not actually abandoning my coastal post. I am packing up, and I'll shortly be leaving this region to go on traveling on what I've dubbed a medicine journey. However, this is where my family roots are, both in BC and on the Washington coast, so I will be returning, I hope, after a bit to someplace in this region. My heart's here and my concerns are here, but I am going to go on a journey, and I won't be returning to live this close to the water, I don't imagine. Here's today's story. From yesterday's Peninsula Daily News. Flotsam under scrutiny. January 30th, 2012. Subtitled, Japanese suspected debris from tsunami by reporter Arwen Rice. I'm just going to let you look out toward the straits here while I read the story to you. Is the black float found on Ania Bay area beach really from the Japan tsunami? And mind you, this is Arnold Schouten, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, of Port Angeles, displays a float believed to be debris that floated onto the North Olympic Peninsula from last spring's Japanese earthquake and tsunami. Below that, a picture of Schouten at his home. He's a member of the Surfrider Foundation. He is pictured here with Tomoko Dodo, Senior Consul, and Tetsuo Kobayashi, both of the Japanese Consulate in Seattle, at Schouten's Port Angeles home. Now to go back to the story. Last Thursday, Tomoko Dodo, Senior Consul from the Consulate General of Japan in Seattle, visited the home of Arnold Schouten, a member of Surfrider Foundation, to see the float for herself. It is the first item found that there is some degree of confidence might be tracked back to the earthquake and tsunami that devastated parts of Japan's northwest coast last March. Dodo and an assistant closely examined the buoy, measuring, photographing details, and recording a number of markings that may indicate where it was made or sold. The markings did not immediately indicate the buoy's exact origin. It's noted that oyster farms are common in the entire Pacific coast. It's impossible to confirm, Dodo said, noting that she and her assistant don't have the knowledge of fishing equipment needed to identify the float. The photos and notes will be sent to Tokyo to be examined by experts in the field, she said. After a photo of the float was sent to Japan in December, it was tentatively identified by Japanese fishermen as a type that is used in oyster farming off the coast of Sendai, Japan. Schouten, who has been surfing off of Clallam County beaches since 1974, was a member of the team that pulled the buoy, along with 1,800 pounds of other marine debris and trash off an isolated beach near Nia Bay. Now, you'll remember that I made a video about a month ago on this when it was first discovered, at which time nobody talked of 1,800 pounds of other marine debris. That's not just floats. Again, 1,800 pounds of other marine debris and trash. I've never seen anything like this before, Schouten said. Okay. Hundreds of similar floats were photographed within huge rafts of debris that floated away from Japan after the 9-point earthquake caused 70-foot to 80-foot waves that scoured coastal areas. Most of the debris is just debris, Dodo said, but no one knows what may wash up on Washington shores. However, Dodo asked that anything that is found, which could be considered a personal keepsake, something clearly from the tsunami, be reported to local authorities or the consulate in Seattle at 206-682-9107. She said it's difficult to predict what kinds of items there are, if any. Early estimates stated that 25 million tons of debris was dragged out to sea by the tsunami waves, but most of it is expected to sink into the ocean depths. Of course, disclaimer here from me, we already know a lot of it's already arrived in this region. The Japanese government has created an interagency task force to track the debris, and official announcements with more accurate estimates of the volume of the actual debris field and its location are expected to be released in the next few months, Dodo said. She added that the task force has been working closely with the U.S. State Department and NOAA. A public memorial event will be held to honor those who died in the Tohoku tsunami. This will be held in Seattle at 2:46 on 11 March at Kobe Bell Plaza in Seattle, with a moment of silence and the ringing of the bell. The bell was given to Seattle by the city of Kobe in 1962 as part of the Sister City in exchange in conjunction with the Seattle World's Fair. Since 1996, it has been rung on January 17th in commemoration of the 6,434 people who died in the 1995 Kobe earthquake. This year, that memorial did not occur, and the new memorial will take its place, Dodo said. More than 15,000 people died in the Tohoku earthquake and tsunami, and more than 3,000 are still missing. You can certainly go online, have a look at the article yourself, read about tracking devices for orcas in our enlightened world, and see photos which have better resolution. Okay, again, this has been Warning 616, aka Two Wolves, reporting from what's for a short bit of time longer is still my coastal post. Okay, I'll just give you a quick look at the skies. There are no obvious chemtrails, though I will note that an hour ago the skies were blue and clear as a bell, and once again the usual pattern is in place. If it weren't so cloudy, you could actually see Vancouver Island directly ahead of us there, 10-15 miles away. Thanks for listening. This is Warning 616, Two Wolves out. Awoo!